time in Arizona, so we know what that means, guys. Welcome to Bill-ievers Talk. My name is Joe, and welcome to this pre-game edition. Happy Halloween of Bill-ievers Talk. We'll go over the game this Sunday between our Buffalo Bills and the Washington Redskins. Again, guys, welcome to Bill-ievers Talk. My name is Joe. If you're new to the channel, make sure you're hitting that subscribe button, guys. Like this video, share this video, let people know we are here talking the pregame for this Sunday's matchup. Obviously, there was a lot to go over, to dissect from that game against the Eagles this past Sunday. Unfortunately, we want to forget about that. It's time to move on. Next opponent up, and that opponent is going to be the Washington Redskins. Guys, if you hear the wind in the background, it's a windy day here in Pennsylvania. In fact, they canceled trick-or-treating or postponed trick-or-treating until tomorrow just due to the wind and the rain. So it's been a little bit crazy here weather-wise, but thank you guys for joining me on this Thursday night late edition. Again, halftime in Arizona with the game currently 21-7. San Fran scoring a touchdown right before the half. So if you're watching that game, hope you're enjoying it. Arizona got off to an early lead, but San Fran has been able to come back and now take a 21-7 lead heading into halftime in that one. So again, thank you for joining me for halftime. I hope to have you back for the start of the second half. I rarely get this done in 15 minutes, but I do hope to have you back for the start of the second half. But thank you for joining me on this preview edition of Bill-ievers Talk. We're going to go over some of the keys to victory for the Buffalo Bills. What the Bills need to do to win this game, to come out with a victory on Sunday against the Washington Redskins. A lot of people are saying, well, the Redskins have a 1-7 record coming into Buffalo after a loss. This should be marked up as a win. We should be ready to call this win before it happens, and I agree. I think we should be able to mark this up as a win, but you just never know. You never know what's going to happen. You never know in the NFL. So we're going to break it down. We thought we'd have an easy win against Miami 2 weeks ago. Turned out to be a lot tougher than we were anticipating. Winning that one 31-21. Actually losing at halftime in that one. So what do we have to do in this game to avoid that same trap, right? To avoid that same feeling of, oh, we got this in the bag, and then all of a sudden find ourselves down at halftime. You know, a lot of people are saying that the Miami Dolphins showed teams how to beat this Buffalo Bills team. That's with running, right? Running the ball down our throats, and it worked last week. It worked last week to the tune of over 200 rushing yards. So everyone's like, oh, we got the formula to beat the Buffalo Bills. I don't think it's that simple, guys. I think Coach McDermott, I think Leslie Frazier, they're going to make defensive adjustments. That's what every good coaching staff does. Remember last year we had a couple games where we allowed over 200 yards rushing. But if you remember this year, we started off this year playing some pretty good running backs. We started off playing Le'Veon Bell, one of the best running backs in the game. Then we had week 2 against Saquon Barkley. And if you remember, Saquon on the first drive from which carried the team, the Giants, the whole way down to the end zone, scoring on the first drive. Didn't do anything after that. Le'Veon Bell had 70 total yards or so. Saquon Barkley had over 100 rushing yards, but again, most of those, probably about 60 of those, on that first drive. So we really bore down on Saquon Barkley, and he was unable to get anything else done throughout the rest of the game. And they talk about Cincinnati, they have Mixon. Mixon doesn't do anything against us either. So it's not as simple as, oh, just run the ball against the Bills. You have to scheme it right. And the Dolphins started to do that, and that's something you got to give credit to the Dolphins. And the Eagles did that. There's a big difference, though, between the Eagles and Washington Redskins offensive lines. The Eagles' offensive line is just a little bit better than the Washington Redskins, even when it's covered with injuries. I think the Eagles' offensive line is better than the Redskins. Although, if you think about the Redskins, they got one of their big guys back, right? Trent Williams comes to practice for the Washington Redskins. However, it does not look like he's going to play this Sunday, so not much to worry about on that end. So again, not too concerned with Trent Williams coming back. Hope that he does well. I just saw on Twitter something that he admitted that he had cancer. So I hope obviously that he's doing well, getting better from that, and that he's able to play. And get whatever situation with the team worked out, whether it be with the Redskins, whether it be with another team. He's a talented young player, deserves to be playing in this league. I hope that he gets what he deserves. So we're going to talk about this Redskins game. And guys, again, I'm going to talk about some of these keys to victory. And we're going to start first with the news earlier this week that the Redskins will be starting Dwayne Haskins at quarterback. This will be Dwayne Haskins' first start of his NFL career. He's played in 2 games so far in his career. We had week 4 against the Giants, and we have week 8 versus Minnesota. In those 2 brief periods that he's played, you're talking about 12 for 22, no touchdowns, 4 interceptions, and he's been sacked 4 times. So obviously you can get to him, you get some pressure on him, get him confused. Again, this is going to be his first start on the road in what's going to be a tough environment to play. Again, the Bills coming off a loss, 5-2. We have high expectations for this team now after a good 5-1 start. We want to see them flying high, and one of the ways to do that is to rebound from a loss and dominate and win. We have a team coming into town where we can dominate them, right? We have a team in the Redskins not playing well, not getting along well in the locker room, not sure about their quarterback situation. Their head coach is on the hot seat. Actually, he's already been let go. I mean, there's just so much going on in Washington. They come in wounded, and we need to pounce. We need to take advantage of that, and we need to show other teams in the NFL that we are for real. We had a chance to show that we are for real against the Eagles, and we just fell short, right? A team came in better coached, more prepared for that game. And that happens sometimes in the NFL. And as I said before, that's the difference between the Eagles coming in needing a must-win game and the Bills coming in wanting to win the game. Let's be honest, very few Bills players have that die-hard mentality, right? The mentality that simply says, hey, we're going to win this game. So we hope to see that in the future. We hope that builds with time. But we don't have that yet. We don't have that killer instinct. And we hope that leaders like Josh Allen, Matt Milano, Tremaine Edmonds, we hope that they get us that killer instinct, that instinct that says, who cares if a team's down, we still got to put our foot on their throat and keep them down. Now, luckily, and we've talked about this a lot, luckily it was against an NFC opponent. So it's not going to hurt us that much when it comes to welcome Ryan X, welcome to Bill-ievers Talk. Glad you can join me for this preview edition. But when it comes to playoffs in the AFC tiebreakers, losing to the Eagles does not hurt us as much. In fact, behind the New England Patriots, we currently have the Buffalo Bills, currently have the second best AFC record against AFC conference teams. So that's something to look forward to. That's something we need to improve upon. We won't do that this week, obviously, playing against the Washington Redskins, also in the NFC East. But hopefully, as the season goes on, we continue to improve on that record. So we're talking about the Redskins. We're talking about the first key to victory. We're talking about Dwayne Haskins, getting pressure on Dwayne Haskins, getting him confused, making sure he doesn't have time in the pocket to read through progressions, make him jittery back there. We've seen plenty of times where Josh Allen has looked jittery in the backfield. Even this past Sunday against the Eagles, we need to make Dwayne Haskins feel that pressure, and we need to get to him a couple times. Hit him, whether sacks or QB hits, hit him. Let him know that these are big boys now, and he's not able to run out of the pocket and simply run when he feels pressure. He's going to get some hits, and we need to make sure that we do that. Also, make sure he doesn't beat you with his legs, okay? He has athletic ability. It's one of the things a lot of college or pro scouts liked about him coming out of college. So far, only 2 rushes for 23 yards in his career, but one way that the Washington Redskins can keep themselves in this game is by running Dwayne Haskins. We saw what happened with Carson Wentz a few times on 3rd downs. I don't know why somebody blocked that, but we saw what happened with Carson Wentz a few times last week. When we had him in 3rd downs, we thought we had it covered, and he just took off and was able to get 1st downs. We cannot let Dwayne Haskins do the same thing. We cannot let this running game get going. One of the ways the Redskins can beat us, one of the ways the Redskins can stay in this game, is if Adrian Peterson has a big day. If Dwayne Haskins can pick up 1st downs. Thanks a lot, Ronald Lennox. Hit that subscribe button. If you haven't already subscribed to Bill-ievers Talk, guys, not only are we set up with hashtag sports to give you the best play-by-play and reaction videos to everything Buffalo Bills, come this Sunday over on Sportscast, we have something special planned for you. Again, we were unable to bring it to you this past Sunday due to some complications with the app. However, we hope to roll it out this coming Sunday when the Redskins go up against the Buffalo Bills. I will be giving you the live play-by-play reaction of that game, so make sure you either join me here on YouTube or join me over on Sportscaster for play-by-play and reaction coverage to our Buffalo Bills. And then not only, like I said, my team up with hashtag sports, I'm also teaming up with BewareTheStampede.com. Guys, go to BewareTheStampede.com for all your Buffalo Bills news. If you want to know who played out of the Buffalo Bills, who's in the Hall of Fame, you got you covered. You want to get stadium information, has you covered. You want the schedule news, you want roster spots, you want salary cap information, you want some reading material, right? He has you covered over on BewareTheStampede.com, and find me over there as well. So go to BewareTheStampede.com, join their mailing list as they'll mail you with new Buffalo Bills news. So the first key to victory for the Buffalo Bills against the Washington Redskins is get to Dwayne Haskins, confuse the young running back, make him think that he's seeing ghosts, as some would say. So that's on this Halloween. Again, happy Halloween to all of you out there. So that's my first key to victory. My second key to victory is obvious. It's so obvious it rarely gets said, but I feel like I need to say it right now, guys. The Buffalo Bills need to score points. Hey, guess what? Newsflash, the team that has the most points at the end of the game, they're considered the winner. Not the team that has the most yards, not the team that has the fewer turnovers. The team that has the most points wins the game. So let me tell you something about our Buffalo Bills right now. Right now we're averaging 19.1 points per game. That's good enough for 24th in the NFL. 24th in the NFL. Yeah, you heard me right. The Buffalo Bills are not scoring at a clip that they need to score at to win these games. 28 points, 21 points, 16 points, 17 points, whatever it is, we're not scoring enough. Now, when we get a chance to score, we do a good job. If you look at our red zone percentage right now, we're at 70.6 red zone conversions into touchdowns. That's first in the NFL. We're 12 out of 17. So out of the 17 times we had in the red zone, we scored 12 touchdowns. That's pretty good. That's pretty impressive. But 17 isn't that great when you're talking about a Buffalo Bills team that's already on their 8th game of the season. In fact, the 17 red zone attempts is good for 28th in the league. We need to get in the red zone more, guys. We need to score more, guys, if we're going to win these games. If we're going to win many games late in December, if we're going to win many games when it gets to the playoffs, we need to score points. And right now, we're just not doing good enough. Again, we seem to run the ball more than pass the ball when we're in the red zone. We need to start fast and hard and finish the same. I would love to see that. I would love to see the Buffalo Bills show us a complete game, quarters 1 through 4. They have not done that yet. I would love to see that this Sunday against the Washington Redskins. You know, we're playing the team that could happen, that we could do that for. You know, we're playing a team coming in, licking their wounds. Hopefully we catch them and we're able to put up some points on them. But we'll see. Hey, Zay King, how are we doing? We need to use Singletary a lot more. We need to use our running game a lot more, period. Whether you're talking about Frank Gore, whether you're talking about Devin Singletary, whether you're talking about TJ Yeldon, I don't care who you're talking about, Patrick DeMarco. We need to run the ball more. I said it on Monday during my post game. I said it on Sunday while I was at the game. You can't have Josh Allen and Frank Gore tied for carries midway through the third quarter. I think Frank Gore only had one more carry than Josh Allen in the whole game. Why we're not running the ball between 30 and 40 times a game is insane to me. We're averaging a pretty good clip running the ball. I don't know why we don't continue to do that. Hey, Dan Martinez, how are we doing? Yeah, he says the same thing. We need to run the ball early. And Ronald says, get Foster's ass out there deep. Well, here's a problem. This is one of my keys to victory as well, and we'll talk about this. Don't allow the weather to be more of a factor than it is, okay? We saw some play calling decisions last week that might have been because of the weather, right? We saw a missed field goal last week because of the weather. We saw a blocked extra point because of the weather. We've seen these things, and we saw Josh Allen drop 4 balls, or 4 overall. We've dropped 4 balls on the turf last week because of the weather. The weather doesn't look too much better, minus the rain, too much better this Sunday. You're talking about 36 degrees. It's going to feel like 27 at kickoff with a 13-mile-per-hour wind, okay? And last week they had 11-mile-per-hour winds with wind gusts in the 20 to 30 range. You're going to see the same thing this week. So I know we want to go deep. I am excited that we can go deep, but if the weather's not letting that happen, don't try to force anything, right? We saw them try to go deep one time with Foster, and at the 50-yard line, that ball just died, okay? Foster was running his route, and all of a sudden he's looking behind him because the ball just died. Luckily it was not picked off, but was hanging in the air for quite some time. So if you force something, then it might lead to a turnover, and a way for the Redskins to stay in this game is by turnovers. So we don't want to see that. First time commenter, hey Zay King, happy that you can comment. Always happy to get back to you guys. So please make sure you keep commenting. I love when you guys comment. The interaction here is key. So that way we keep talking Buffalo Bills football. I write notes down, but let's be honest, who listens to my notes? And not only, here's the thing about notes. It's funny, like you listen to other Buffalo Bills YouTubers, and they'll give you the same stats. Do you know why? Because you can't make up stats. Like stats aren't something you can make up. One person can say one stat, the same person can say the same stat. Now, what I will say about watching all this content, which I love to do, I am fans of hashtag sports, blindside sports, Buffalo fanatics. I'm fans of all of them because I might miss something that hashtag brings up, right? Or Buffalo Fanatics brings up, or Blindside Sports brings up. And it's really cool to get different aspects, to see what other people are looking into, and to put the game together that way, right? I'm going to watch hashtag sports preview video. I'm going to watch what Buffalo Fanatics has to say. I'm going to watch what Blindside Sports Bills has to say. And I'm just going to kind of formulate and cover one. All of them. All of them are great. I'm going to form my opinion on them and say, hey, these are some stats that really look nice, really look good. And, combine that with the stats that I brought up, here's what we have. And then you really get a good feel for the game before you go into it. So I would recommend subscribing to all these guys. If you haven't already subscribed to me, subscribe to me. And we will continue to keep you updated on all Buffalo Bills news. And again, different perspectives, different people, different personalities always makes it fun. One big collab. Hey, Ron, I would love that. We have done collabs in the past before the season started. Hashtag Cover One and myself did a collab. I've done other collabs with others. I know Dan Mafia recently did collabs with some of the other Buffalo Bills YouTube channels as well. So we're constantly doing collab videos because we know that you guys deserve and want the best content. And we can all give it to you. So again, hit that subscribe button. So again, my first key to victory, if you're just joining, first of all, thank you for joining. My first key to victory is confuse that young quarterback. We know that Dwayne Haskins is going to be the starter this Sunday. It's going to be his first start. It's going to be on the road. It's going to be in the middle of Bills Mafia, right? Bills Mafia is going to be loud. Make it happen, guys. Make it happen. Make it confuse Dwayne Haskins from the start. One thing I got to give Eagles fans credit for, they were in numbers at New Era Field. They did a great job coming into our stadium. You all do a great job. Thank you, Ronald Enix, for that. We really appreciate it. But they really did a good job. About a quarter of the stadium was filled with Eagles fans. And by the end of the game, it was probably about 70 to 80% of the stadium was filled with Eagles fans, really celebrating a win. Again, a must win for the Philadelphia Eagles. Dan Martinez writes in, deep is nice to play well. The underachieved last week. We absolutely underachieved last week. Do a video with Rico. Rico is my guy. Hey, Ben Johnson. I love Rico. I think he's a great personality. I always enjoy watching his videos. I didn't agree with him on Nathan Peterman. He was wrong on that one. I was right. But he was right on Zay Jones. I was wrong there. So I always like watching him and Pierre go at it sometimes too. I know Pierre just posted something. So I'm watching. Believe it or not, I'm watching. I really enjoy what all those guys have to say. In fact, I just responded to something that Rico tweeted out today about what Coach McDermott had to say yesterday about the previous regime and how enough mistakes have been made in the past. Again, maybe not necessary to say. Could have been correct. He could have been correct in what he said, but not the right time to say it. Doesn't need to say it. Normally, Coach McDermott is reserved in those press conferences. I said then, and I'll say that now, I feel like he might regret saying that. Like right now, looking back at it, he might say, man, I wish I didn't say that. But we're all allowed to make one mistake in front of the mic. Just ask Baker Mayfield about that, if you will. The defense needs to play well. They underachieved last week. They absolutely did, especially in the running game and screen game. If you look at the screens, I wrote it down. I forget. If you look at the screens between running backs and tight ends, the Carson Wentz went 4 for 5. They got about 65 yards on those screen passes. So we need to do a better job there. We need to do a better job between the hash marks in the run game. The run game gashed us, and most of it was right up the middle. I talked about in my previous video about how it was nice to see Matt Milano back, and I thought Matt Milano had a pretty good game. But there were definitely some times where he was in the wrong spots on those runs, and so we need to make sure that we scheme better. And listen, I trust Coach McDermott, I trust Leslie Frazier to scheme our defense better. I think we'll do all right when it comes to the running attack. The defense can't when offense is consistently 3-and-outs. And to your point, Zay King, we had 7 3-and-outs last week. 7 3-and-outs last week, and that's the most we've had so far this season. So it was hard for that team because we were in that game until that third quarter, right? Now there's no excuse for the 66-yard touchdown by Saunders to start the second half. Really no excuse for that. But we were really in this game until the fourth quarter, then kind of got away from us. So to your point, the offense needs to do a better job keeping drives alive, and that goes with running the ball. Not only do we have to keep drives alive, we have to give our defense time, right? We saw it twice last week, where we got the ball and it was incomplete pass, took maybe 7, 8, 12 seconds of game time off the clock. We need to run the ball consistently. It doesn't have to be on first time down all the time. And I'm not saying you can't have a series where you pass the ball on first, second, third down, but it's just become too much. It's become too much of a regular thing for our Buffalo Bills. Need to run the ball consistently to give your defense time, even if you don't score on the drive. Maybe pick up a first down or two. Give them 3, 4, 5 minutes of game time, which turns into 20 minutes of real time to get some rest. It always helps out. Pierre is right about running the dang ball more. Everyone's been saying that. Yeah, Pierre says that. I look over at my guys at Hashtag Sports. They say that, and I'm saying that here. You need to run the ball more. Why did you draft Devin Singletary in the third round if you're not going to use him? There comes a point where it's no longer about rookie rust or a rookie getting tired. It's time. It's time to get him acclimated to the offense if he's not already, and it's time to get him the touches that he deserves and he longs for. He wants the ball. Give him the ball. You have Frank Gore. You have T.J. Yeldon. You have Patrick DeMarco. Use them to your advantage. Stop running QB runs. I was thinking about that. I was thinking about these QB runs, and I don't like the QB run designs as much as the next person. But man, it's setting up nicely for an end around or a misdirection type play for a defense, right? You look at those runs when Allen just takes the ball and starts running to the left or the right. Watch that defense follow him. And I'm not saying that this is what Coach is doing, what Brian Daboll is doing, but man, it's setting up that misdirection nicely. You put Andre Roberts on the outside, Isaiah McKenzie on the outside, start running Allen. Let's say you're running Allen to the left, right? Then you have Roberts come in motion to the right. And then you're going this way, you pitch it back to Roberts, and he should have an open lane. Maybe you have your center or your right guard peel out to the right, have a lead blocker. I think it's setting up, leave that from Lamar Jackson. We all know how much Lamar Jackson loves to run the ball, even though he says he hates it. But I'm telling you, it's setting up a good misdirection. Again, I'm not saying that's what Brian Daboll's doing, but if you watch a defense pursue Josh Allen on those runs, it's setting that up nicely. And I think we need to use that to our advantage. I'm not saying, again, that's what Brian Daboll's going to do. I'm saying just watch the film and you'll see it yourself. That's fine if he has time to get rid of the ball safely. Absolutely. Well, and Josh Allen needs to be smart enough to do that, right? Josh Allen needs to be smart enough to know, hey, I need to be able to get rid of this ball. If I'm going down or if the defense is on top of me, I need to tuck it and just go down. And that's, again, one of those learning things that he's continuing to have to learn as he's still a young quarterback. And again, guys, he has not thrown interceptions in 2 straight games, okay? And you think about last week with the wind the way it was, to not have an interception in that game by either team, pretty impressive. So to go up against those winds again, hopefully he has the same success. I know he's going up against Norman Norman's getting a little bit older, and we thought he was on a trading block too. And we can talk about that too, guys. Nothing happening at the trade deadline. I was live for the end of the trade deadline. And again, guys, if you haven't hit that subscribe button, guys, hit that subscribe button because I go live for that trade deadline, for the breaking news, for the pregame and postgame analysis, and again, going live Sundays for play-by-play and reaction. As I hear the thunder rolling in the background, I don't know if you guys can hear it either, but it's a thunderstorm here in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. But again, so right now my 3 keys to victory: confuse Dwayne Haskins, the young quarterback, his first career start on the road. Currently only 12 for 22 in his young career, 4 interceptions, no touchdowns. Score points, like I said earlier, guys, averaging only 19.1 points per game, 24th in the NFL. We have a 70.6 red zone touchdown ratio, which is great. However, we've only been in the red zone 17 times, which is 28th in the league. Not that good. Don't allow weather to be more of a factor than it already is. Again, the weather minus the rain is going to be about the same. A little colder, a little windier. So make sure you're protecting that ball. Don't put the ball on the ground 4 times. We were lucky to only get 1 turnover last week, but we cannot keep having the ball on the ground. And my 4th key to victory, and we talked about it a little bit earlier, avoid 3 and outs. Before last week, we talked about how good this team has been at avoiding 3 and outs, being able to give that defense time to rest, being able to give or make that other defense stay on the field, get them tired, get them worn out. A good way to stay warm in this cold weather is to stay active. A good way to stay active is to stay on the field. If you stay on the field, that means you're making this defense work hard. So avoid 3 and outs. Again, we had 7 last week, most that we've had so far this year. Avoid those 3 and outs, especially against a bad Redskins team. This Redskins team's bad. They beat Miami by 1 point because Miami decided to go for 2 instead of going for 1. You can argue whether or not that was the right decision, but they decided to do that, and the Redskins ended up winning that game. They should be 0-7. They got lucky to play the Dolphins, but we need to make sure that they don't feel like they're in this game late, okay? If they feel like they're in this game late, they may get the idea they can win it, and nothing's more dangerous than a team that thinks they have a chance. Blow them out early and make sure you keep your foot on the gas as long as you can. Haskins is starting. We must destroy that Buckeyes. That's what I'm hearing. I'm hearing that Haskins started. I think I heard that yesterday on Twitter and on NFL.com. So I think that's what's going on. But no matter who the starter is, whether it be McCoy, Haskins, doesn't matter. We need to make sure that we take care of business on our end, and we need to make sure, like I said, that we dominate this game early, often, and always. Okay. Get that 4 quarters. Now, again, with these windy conditions, I don't expect to see Josh Allen throw for a lot of yards, just like this past week. I want him to be more efficient. He was less than 50% this past week. I want him to be more efficient with the ball. You look at Carson Wentz numbers. What was he? 17 for 24 for less than 200 yards. I'm okay with that. Be efficient. Find the open receiver. Get easy first downs. That's all we need to do in this game. Score points when they're there. What about Dawson Knox? Been quiet for him as well. Dawson Knox has been so hot and cold this season. When he makes a play, he seems to make a couple in a row. But then, last time I was hearing from Dawson Knox, he was dropping balls. And, it just was not okay. It was good to see, and I talked about this Monday in my post game. We did get the other tight end involved in the game. Why can't I remember his name? The guy that's been out forever. The guy we got from Cincinnati, Croft. We got Tyler Croft involved in the game. Knox needs to cure his dropsies. Absolutely. No, he absolutely needs to cure his dropsies. But again, he's a rookie. We're going to give him a little bit of a break. And at the end of the day, guys, again, we are 5-2. Let's enjoy that. Hopefully going to be 6-2 going into that game against the Dolphins, going into that game against the Browns. I look forward to good things happening for our Buffalo Bills here in the next 4 or 5 games. You look at this next stretch of games, you got the Redskins, you got the Dolphins, you got the Browns, you got the Broncos. Those should be 4 winnable games. And then you're talking about the Cowboys on Thanksgiving, right? Should be a fun one there. I will be giving you live play-by-play reaction to that game on Thanksgiving. So enjoy some turkey, enjoy some family, enjoy some friends. And then let's hang out with the Bills Mafia. Have a great Thanksgiving. Hopefully celebrating a win over those Dallas Cowboys. That'd be a great way to celebrate Thanksgiving. And then also, you talk about the last 4 games of the season. You talk about the Baltimore Ravens. That's a winnable game, no matter what anyone says. You talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's definitely a winnable game that bends out for the season. Mason Rudolph not looking that great. able to come back against the Dolphins on Monday Night Football, just like we came back when we played the Dolphins as well. And then you have the Evil Empire in New England. We still remember Week 4, guys. We remember Week 4. We can do it. I believe in this team. And then Week 17 against the New York, New Jersey, Jets, Jets. That rounds out our schedule. I think we have a nice path to the playoffs, a 5 seed, if not somehow fighting for that division. I think this loss to the Eagles really hurts us when it comes to any chance at the division, but you still never know. You never know what could happen. The Patriots have a tough game against Baltimore and Baltimore this week. Anything can happen in the NFL. You know, we talked about the game that just is going on today. Never would have thought Arizona would have been out to a 7-0 lead. Now it's 21-14. Arizona comes out in the second half and scores a touchdown. 10-point spread there. If you watched my episode yesterday when I picked every single game, I picked the 49ers to win this game. I picked the Cardinals to cover a 10.5-point spread. So let's see if they do that. Play Knox and Croft because Lee Smith is a penalty magnet. Yes, the penalties have been killer for Lee Smith. And if you watch #sports, I will direct you over there. They talk about Lee Smith a little bit and how with Croft now in, Lee Smith is dispensable. And you look at the inactives and you say, okay, then who can we pick up? And there are a couple of inactives there that we like. Maybe even look over at the waiver wire and you see a guy like Josh Gordon. Is that someone that you guys want to pick up? Would you be happy if the Buffalo Bills picked up Josh Gordon? I'll wait to see your comments before I comment on it. Let me know what you think over here on the comment section, and then I'll let you know what I think. Before I do, though, I do want to talk about what the Redskins need to do to win this game. If you're a Bills fan and you're wondering, well, let's pretend for a second that we're worried about Redskins victory here. What's going to happen for the Redskins to win this game? Well, I think first of all, they'll have to control the clock, right? Control time possession. We saw it last week. The Eagles beat the Bills in time possession by almost 11 minutes. That's crazy to think about that. And that's to someone in the chat's point earlier about the defense being on the field way too much. That's what that is attributed to. It's only alone, says Zay King. He's thinking we have nothing to lose. Around Enix is saying yes. So again, I'll get to that in a second. But if the Redskins are going to win this game, they need to control time possession. They need to keep Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills offense off the field. And again, if you control time possession, that defense is just getting worn down. Defense is going to get tired. How do you control time possession? Easy. Get your tight ends involved. Get your running game involved. Get that screen game involved. Everything the Bills, the two things the Bills have struggled with the past 2 weeks is the screen game and the running game. So get those going early and use them to keep on the field. Use Adrian Peterson a lot in this game. I know he's old, but I can't call him too old because we have a guy in our backfield 4 years older in Frank Gore. So Adrian Peterson's still doing a great job. I think he's rushed for 75 or more yards in the past 4 games, so he's still able to get the job done. And he's breaking records. He's moving up that all-time list, getting close to Frank Gore, not quite there though. But he is moving up that list. Gordon Brown makes life easier for Beasley. It might. Again, I'll talk about that in a second. Another thing the Redskins need to do to win, not only control time possession, not only run the ball well, but when on defense, they need to keep everything in front of them. And it's good time to do that. The weather in Buffalo, like I said, 32 degrees. Winds worse than they were last week against the Philadelphia Eagles. So might be a good way to do that. Don't let John Brown get on fire here. And again, keep everything in front of you. Make Josh Allen beat you in the pocket. Those are the ways to beat this Buffalo Bills team. So that is what the Redskins will have to do. I did also want to talk about the trade deadline. Trade deadline came and passed. Was this past Tuesday. Trade deadline ended at 4 p.m. Eastern time. Not much happened. Not much at all. The Buffalo Bills, of course, trading Zay Jones to the Oakland Raiders earlier in the trade market, but nothing happened at the deadline. We heard rumors they were on the lookouts for a wide receiver. We heard rumors that they might be on the lookouts for a Melvin Gordon type. We heard rumors that they might be interested in Trent Williams. Nothing happened. Let me know in the comment section what you guys think about that. Were you excited that nothing happened? Are you still questioning the fact that nothing happens? Where are you in that? And guys, I've been saying this all season. I don't have a reason not to trust Brandon Beane in this process. I don't have a reason to not trust Coach McDermott, to trust Leslie Frazier, to trust this coaching staff, to trust this front office to not make the right move. So I think they made every call they wanted to make on every player they were thinking about trading for. I just think the price tag was too high for a lot of them. I was waiting all day during the trade deadline for that domino to fall. And I thought it was Aqib Talib going to the Dolphins. I thought once Aqib Talib went to the Dolphins in that trade, not that big of a trade, but I thought that was going to get the ball rolling. That was going to get the ball rolling. How can we get Josh Gordon at Cincinnati 513? Yeah, as Zay King said, he is now a free agent. New England let him go. So now he's in the waiver period. So he's still hurt, but the Bills can pick him up in the waiver period. The Bills are higher up in the waiver order since they're doing so well. But if Josh Gordon makes it to us, would you want to pick him up? And my answer to that, since we're talking about that now, I don't know how I feel about the deadline. I want talent, but I don't want douchebags screwing up the locker room, says Ben Johnson. I like building through the draft. I don't want to see money wasted on players that don't fit the culture. See, these are the reactions I like to see. I'm on the same page. Again, I think that this coaching staff, I think this front office does their due diligence. They called Antonio Brown. They called about AJ Green. They called about Adam Thielen. They talked about all these players. They called the Redskins. You bet they called the Redskins about Trent Williams. They've called them, but they heard the price tag and said, you know what? Too rich for our blood. We know how Brandon Beane likes his draft capital. We know how he likes his draft pick. Now we have a lot of fifth-round draft picks in the next 2 years, but we never know what he's going to turn those into. As the guys say over at Hashtag Sports, Brandon Beane is a firm believer that 2/5 is as good as 1/4, and I believe that. I believe that he's right when he says that 2/5 are as good as 1/4. We saw it this past season, right? This past season, we gave up 2/4 to move back up into the third to get Dawson Knox, okay? So we do that again. We get another 4th-round pick. I'm okay with that, but let me know what you guys think again in the comment section. So let's talk about Josh Gordon. We just talked about, I don't think he would destroy our locker room. We just talked about culture. We just talked about the culture Cincinnati 513 with that of this locker room. Now, Josh Gordon might be the guy. It depends where he's at in his career, right? If he's the guy finally saying, you know what, I just want a chance. I just want that 1-year contract to prove I still have what it takes to play at the NFL. I might not be 2013 Josh Gordon, right? But don't expect me to be 2013 Josh Gordon. Expect me to be 2018 Josh Gordon. I'm talking 30, 40 catches a season. I'm talking 3, 4 touchdowns a year. I'm talking take a top off a defense, even if you're just a decoy, and make yourself a good player that way. Make yourself a team guy. That's what he needs to do. So it depends. If that's the Josh Gordon that he's ready to become, I want him on this team. That leaves us able to send Brown out to do more deep routes, to do more cut-ins, to do more slant routes, things like that. And then again, as was mentioned in the comment section, makes life a little bit easier on Cole Beasley in the middle there, able to get past some linebackers, get past some slot corners, not going up against the number 2 corner on a team anymore, now going up against a slot corner, possibly a linebacker. But if we're still talking about the same selfish Josh Gordon that we saw in 2013, the guy that is himself first, the guy that doesn't care about his team, and believe me, a coaching staff, what am I looking for? Not just a coaching staff, but a team, owner, GM, all them guys, they can see that in the interview room. They can see that when they interview a player. If he's still that selfish guy who's worried about a payday, who's worried about where he's getting his next drugs from, and again, I hope he's clean. I hope he stays clean forever. I really do. But if he's that type of guy who's worried about himself first and not worried about the team aspect, then I don't want him on this team. Really messes up the culture. I didn't hear anything bad about what he was doing in New England, right? I just saw him not get the ball. So I didn't hear anything bad. So if Josh Gordon's available to us, should we take him? Maybe not. Is he worth the risk? Probably. Probably. You're talking about a 1-year, $3, $4, $5 million deal, prove-it deal, to say the least, right? And then if he doesn't do his job for the next 8 weeks, cut him. Or you don't even have to cut him, because if it's only a 1-year deal, he's done. If he does his job, maybe you think about restructuring a contract for him, I'm okay with that too. He is getting up there in age, guys. I know he doesn't have a lot of miles, NFL miles on his tires, but he is getting up there in age as well. So you do have to take that in consideration. Definitely a what could have been type situation for Josh Gordon when it comes to the NFL. Unfortunate to see. What happened to Duke? 1 game, 1 TD. Duke did not play well this past game. Against the Eagles, I saw him drop 1 or 2 balls for sure. But again, he's a young guy too. You can't expect everyone to, you can't expect every game these rookies to shine every single time. You can't expect that. It's not going to happen. There was a reason why Duke Williams was on the practice squad the first 7 weeks of the season. It's because the coaching staff wanted to make sure he was ready for this jump. Is he ready for this jump? We'll see. We'll see. Still have some time to tell, but there has to be something between the Tennessee game and the Eagles game. There has to be something else in there in the tank for Duke Williams. I hope we see it, or else maybe he's just another CFL wide receiver bust in the NFL, and that won't help the Buffalo Bills in the playoffs if we make it there. So again, guys, my keys to victory for the Buffalo Bills. Confuse the young QB. Dwayne Haskins, first NFL start, only 22 pass attempts currently in the NFL, 4 interceptions, no touchdowns. Confuse the young QB, make him make bad decisions. My second key to victory is simple: score points. Score points. Right now, the Bills rank 24th in the NFL in points scored. Just not good enough. We're best in the league at 70.6% in red zone to touchdown ratio. However, we've only had the ball in the red zone 17 times, which is the 28th best in the NFL. So, only better than 4 teams there, or 3 teams there. Then also my third key to victory: don't allow the weather to beat you. Don't allow the weather to become more of a factor. Then it's going to be, again, 32 degrees, 15-mile-per-hour winds with 20 to 30-mile-per-hour wind gusts. It's going to be tough, but don't let the weather beat you. Be better than that. Be better than that. And then my fourth key to victory: avoid 3 and outs. Had 7 of them last week. Need to stop that. Need to let this defense get rest. Again, the Eagles outpossessed us by almost 11 minutes. Okay, so we can't let that happen. Let me get some more of your comments here. Do you really think that was a high price tag for T. Williams and Josh Norman? We have all the picks to make moves, but again, if it all depends on what the team's asking for. We have picks, but what players do we have, right? We don't have too many players to give up, and if teams were looking for players, maybe that was a problem. Maybe because of Norman's value 2, 3, 4 years ago, the asking price was just too high. I do think it's possible that people are putting a price tag on these guys that is not feasible. And again, I'm good with Brandon Beane simply saying, here's my price tag. You don't want that? Fine, we're good. And we heard from multiple sources that there was a lot of smoke around the trade deadline, just no one pulled the trigger. So no surprise here that the Bills weren't the first one to take that leap, right? We were waiting for that domino to fall. It just never fell, and this is what happens. We like the team the way it is. This team, as it is 5-2. Let's not forget about that. The schedule's favorable for us to make the playoffs. And let's be honest, whether you liked what he said or didn't like what he said, Coach McDermott is correct in the fact that this front office has made a lot of mistakes in the past. Let's avoid those mistakes now. Would you want to take a Josh Norman or a Trent Williams? Absolutely. But what if they come in and they're bust? And all of a sudden you have this big contract? Because let's not fool ourselves. Trent Williams' contract's still pretty big, right? Let's not fool ourselves, and all of a sudden you waste cap space that could have been used for a Poyer, for a Milano, for a Trey White, for someone down the line that all of a sudden we can't sign. No, I'm all right. Let's keep it the way it is. I feel like it's the play calling that isn't putting our playmakers in the best position to make solid plays consistently. And that could be and again, I always say this, you never know who's to blame for everything, right? You can blame it solely on Dable, but is it that easy? I don't think it's that easy in any case in the NFL. Can you blame it just on Dable? Can you blame it on Josh Allen not reading his progressions correctly or not looking the right way to start a play? Can you blame the wide receivers for not running the right routes? Or can you blame the running backs for not running to the right side of the ball or even running the right screen routes? You just don't know who's all to blame it on. Zay King is right. Dable listen to everyone and run the ball. I talked to a friend about this, and it's funny how, to me, it's funny. And it's no longer to the point of we shouldn't criticize coaches. I think we have every right to. But here we are, 10 of us, 20 of us. By the way, guys, hit that like button, share this video, and again, subscribe if you're not subscribed to Believers Talk. But here we are, Bills fans. And it's not just the 10 of us, it's the thousands of us who have watched Buffalo Fanatics, who have watched Hashtag Sports, who has watched Dan Mafia, who have watched Blindside Sports, who have watched Cover One. Every single one of us saying, run the ball, run the ball, run the ball, run the ball. And yet here Dable is and we're not running the ball. We have a guy that's either inept at offensive coordinator, which I don't think that's the case. I really don't think that's the case, or else we'd have consistency on the offensive play. It would just be bad. So I don't think that's the case. We just have a guy who is trying to do too much, who might be trying to do too much for a young quarterback to get his confidence up, who might be doing too much for a team who he wants to see score a bunch of points, might be doing too much because he wants to make sure that we score quicker. I don't know what the case might be, but Daboll's definitely trying too hard, trying too much to be what the Buffalo Bills are not. Run the ball. Pierre, in Pierre's Twitter feed, when you put that on Twitter, he said, look at the top 7 teams in running the ball. They're like, wait, I think he's at 44-11 combined record, something like that. Just look at that. That should tell you what you need to do. So again, I'm not saying Daboll's inept at offensive coordinator. I'm saying he's just trying too hard to do something that this team is not set up to do. And he knows that. He knows that. He just needs to use his head and realize that during the game. Run the ball. Run Frank Gore. He's still got it in him. 36-year-old Frank Gore, that motor's still running. And speaking of motors, run Devin Singletary, the rookie running back out of Florida Atlantic. Run him. That's why you got him. Go out, go get TJ Yeldon off the practice squad. Make TJ Yeldon active. There are plenty of opportunities on this roster. Plenty of opportunities to run the ball. And believe me, and you guys know this too, the more we run the ball, the easier it's going to be for Josh Allen. Anyhow, guys, that's what I have for you today. I'm going to get to some of these comments again before I head out. Daboll has to be smart enough to know how his QB goes through progressions and choose plays for him. Keep it simple but effective. Again, there has to come a point where you take the training wheels off as well for Josh Allen. I really think that, I think that we've done so long. We've been keeping the training wheels on Josh Allen, and I hope that Daboll's okay with taking those training wheels off and saying, "Hey, kid, it's your offense. Figure it out." And it's come with some harsh consequences at times for us as Bills fans. But again, we need to see that growth from Josh Allen, because who knows if Daboll will be there next year, right? Might be Ken Dorsey. And we need a young quarterback to be able to handle that change at offensive coordinator and be able to just continue to click, no matter who's back there with them. Cincinnati 513 writes, my thoughts. They worked so much with Josh on his short and medium game that his long ball isn't nowhere to be found. Hey, but it's the short and medium game that's going to win games. That long ball's nice. It looks nice on a stat sheet. It's fun to watch, right? But with this offense, with this type of offense that they're trying to run, it's those short and medium throws that are going to win games, okay? You can't always rely on the 80-yard bomb. That's why you don't need to have a rocket of an arm, a.k.a. Tom Brady, to win in this league. You don't need to throw an 80-yard bomb. Now, it's nice to have that in your arsenal, right? If a guy's open downfield, you're able to set your feet. Because that's one thing I've noticed about Josh Allen's deep balls so far this season. Very few of them have come when he's been able to set his feet and just throw the ball. A lot of them have come when he's on the run, making things up. The play might have broke down. He's running forward. He sees Zay Jones. He sees Robert Foster. He sees someone, and then he throws it. Or like last week, there's 30-mile-per-hour winds, and he's just not able to get the ball there, right? So rely on those short and medium throws to get you first downs. And if they give you an easy one over the top, take it, right? Great show. Thanks a lot, Ronald. Always good. Thanks a lot, Ben. Always good having you guys on. Again, thank you for joining me on this edition of Believers Talk. Definitely lasted longer than 15 minutes. I do appreciate you guys sticking with me. Currently 28-14 over in Arizona. Enjoy the rest of the game. 5 minutes to go in the third quarter there. Enjoy the rest of the game. Enjoy the rest of your Halloween. Happy Halloween. If you're watching this feed not live, again, if you have a comment, leave a comment. Subscribe to this channel. Again, but Believers Talk giving you the most breaking Buffalo Bills news as they can every single day. I'll be live tomorrow at some point for an injury report Friday before the game, and then we'll be live Sunday for play-by-play reaction to the Buffalo Bills game. Check us out on YouTube or go down in the description below. We have links for Sportscaster. We have links to my Twitter feed. We have all those things down there, so go ahead and check those out as well. I look forward to talking to you all soon. Like I said, enjoy your Halloween. Enjoy those scary movies. Love you guys too. But have a great night. I'll talk to y'all soon. Until I do, go Bills.